go through the picks. I'll let Omari write some of them down.
Wait, what the fuck?
You can still continue.
So how many people are on bye this week?
A lot.
Oh shit. Okay, let me do this.
Oh, these are all the people that are playing.
Yeah. All right, let's throw it up. First game of the week. We don't need. Oh, not just me and not that. There you go.
All right. Shall I start? Oh, my bed's in the way. Let me change my camera.
Can I get? Is this better? Or is that better?
All right. I'll keep track while we do this.
Yeah, Las Vegas at Chicago. Las Vegas, 2.5-point road favorites. What a face-off, by the way. Brian Hoyer versus Tyson Bagent at the QB position this week.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what to say about this game. I don't even know if I want to make a pick here.
I can go first.
Please.
I think I'll go with the Raiders after hearing Davante Adams' comments about being frustrated with the offense and him not getting as many balls as he will. I think I'll force feed him the ball, which is the correct thing to do. Again, especially against Chicago, it's a get right game for him, and I think they'll win the game because of it. And I think O'Connell's starting. That's what I heard.
No, it's they announced today it's Brian Hoyer.
Oh, okay.
But I wouldn't.
Isn't that nigga like 38?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a veteran, I guess. So
if they're losing, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull him though. Like if they start getting the game off awful, I would not be surprised at all if he doesn't finish it. But
then Max Crosby's still playing too, especially against Chicago. So he's always dominant. So I'll take the Raiders.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders too. I think they have more talent overall. Like you said, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers having a great season. Josh Jacobs, although he's inefficient, he's still one of the better running backs in the league. The O-line just kind of holding him back. And I think Brian Hoyer's a vet, so he kind of understands the NFL. Not a good QB, but when you've been in the league for so long, you can read coverages as opposed to Tyson Bagent, rookie QB. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't even know. He's never been in the league, been in real games. So, they might not have the running backs this week either. Khalil's on IR and then Roshan's still in concussion protocol. So they're base their offense off the run game too, which is not going to help. So they're just going to be super limited this week, I think. And I'm with you. I think the Raiders take it pretty easily.
Mort.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Raiders too. I feel like I can never bet on the Bears again. I can't believe they did it to me. I feel like, they're coming back to earth a little bit after their little tiny run they went on with Fields and DJ Moore going crazy. I feel like now that Fields is out of there, I feel like Tyson Bagent, like if Fields wasn't playing good and they still didn't bench him, it's like, what's Tyson Bagent going to do?
So that team is just meant for the QB to fail for like a long time.
Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be, even with 38-year-old, hopefully he doesn't get sacked too many times because he'll probably die. Probably have a heart attack on the field. But as long as he survives that, I feel like the Raiders are going to take it out.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one.
And even if he doesn't, I think Aiden O'Connell could go in there and win the game.
Yeah.
All right, next game. Cleveland at Indiana. Deshaun Watson is questionable.
Looks like he's on pace to play, though.
He might, but even with that being known, it doesn't look like he's 100%.
I'll probably go probably go with Cleveland. That defense is one of the best in the league. I'm pretty sure they're like top 5 defensively. If Deshaun's back, I heard the Indiana secondary is hurt too, and obviously there's no Anthony Richardson, so that'll hurt them a bunch. If Cleveland can stop the run game and Jonathan Taylor, I think Cleveland has the best chance of winning. So I think I'll go with Cleveland on this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy pick for the Browns. Even if Deshaun doesn't play, they literally beat the Niners last week without him. So I'm pretty confident that they can beat the Colts, whose secondary is bad. The run game, I think Jerome Ford is going to have a big week just because I just feel like the nature of the game, they're going to be up a lot. They're going to lean on the run game. Him or Kareem Hunt, let me just say that. I don't know. Maybe one of them will break out more, but one of the RBs will have a big game. I'm going to go with the Browns here.
No, I'm going to have to agree with you. I feel like the injury to AR really hurts the Colts a lot. I would have probably picked the Colts if AR was in there because at least they would have like a, serviceable offense. But right now, I feel like they're just going to try to power through the run. But since the Browns have one of the best run defenses in the league, I don't think it's going to help them a whole lot. And I feel like even if the Browns' offense is a little stale, even if Deshaun plays or not, like I feel like it'll be enough to beat the Colts.
Yeah,
Wish you there. Next
Unanimous
game.
one here too.
Buffalo at New England. Who wants to start on this one? Fun game.
8
Pretty
point
hard
favorites.
pick, huh?
Yeah,
No, I'm
Buffalo.
You know who I'm going.
Yeah, nothing needs to be said there. I think, but we said the same thing about the Giants, and the Giants almost won. But New England's definitely worse than the Giants, the way that they operate offensively.
I'll say this here. I don't think
I'm
like
going Buffalo.
I'm gonna pick Buffalo, obviously, but since it's a division game, I could see it being not as bad as people may think. You know, I mean, I have no.
Have a huge game.
Who will?
Ramondre or Zeke running game.
You think they will, or they need to?
They need to if they want to win. But
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
mean,
they will.
I mean, they're not winning, but like I do think, I think the defense will do a good job on the Bills. That's what I'll say. I think they'll kind of will be like, why aren't the Bills scoring? Like I don't think the Patriots offense is going to do anything, but we'll be like, damn, Bills 3 and out again type thing. So I think we'll see a lot of that in the game.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they don't, because I know Belichick likes to shut down their number ones.
But they don't got their number one corner, so I mean, good luck.
Yeah, hopefully Diggs cooks him and just puts him away.
I don't even know. Oh, who is it? Who did they trade for again? J.C. Jackson. They traded for him back.
Yeah.
Good luck, bro.
I think the scheme is good enough, like even without their top-notch defensive players, to still be in games.
I mean, man, it hasn't worked. I mean, it worked last week, but it was against the Raiders. So
yeah, so we'll see if that continues to go.
Bills pretty easily, but I do think that the Patriots can get a few stops early in the game, at least. I think once they see the offense can't get past the midfield, they'll be like, oh, we give up.
Yeah.
All right, Commanders at Giants.
It's going to be an ass off.
I think it's going to be a decent game because it's a division game. Both teams aren't the greatest. Giants coming off a good week. Washington coming off a relatively good week.
How's look better? So
how like he's super up and down. I think he does a terrible job of sensing pressure. He has no idea when somebody's right there. Like he'll get sacked. Like, oh shit, what the fuck?
at least he throws it far. At least he's not like a freaking check down king like Derek Carr. Like there's no.
He definitely spreads the ball out a lot, gets everybody involved, which for the actual NFL is good. For fantasy, not so much, but he's an open guy, so you want to see that.
Yeah, I mean, like the inconsistencies are just growing pains of rookies in the NFL, like trying to figure it out. So I think he's on the right path, and he's clearly been playing pretty well, like better than what they have had in previous years, showing that potential. So that's a good sign for them, at least.
Definitely upgrade over Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
People were saying that if he wasn't a 5th-round pick, if he was like a 1st-round pick, putting up the stats he's putting up, people would be going crazy. Be like, oh, he's the next,
like a Brock Purdy type of thing.
Yeah. Well, not him because they're not winning as much, but just like compare him to, I don't know, like if Bryce Young was putting up the same stats, they'd be like, oh, look, he's so good. Sure. It's just the fact that he's a 5th-round pick. So anytime he does bad, it's like, look, obviously he's, you know what I mean?
I think that's valid, like criticism, because you're drafted in the 1st round for a reason off of like potential loans. So if you're doing good, that's based off what the scouting says. But if you're a 5th-round pick and you're doing good, you're not supposed to like from what the scouts are saying. So
I just wanted to point that out.
Praised for your work, though. I mean, if you're doing better than what you were originally supposed to, you should be praised a bit more. But I guess you just don't have the hype because you weren't a 1st-rounder. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think he deserves a little more credit for how he's played. But I agree with what you said generally. So what's the picks here? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I think New York's been pretty bad all season. I don't even know. I don't think Daniel Jones has practiced with contact.
He's questionable. Yes, he is not yet clear to play.
So I think Washington is they benched that rookie that was getting cooked, the cornerback. I keep forgetting his name.
Yeah, they did, but they said I saw some reports that he was like getting better in practice, so that's a good sign for them.
Yeah, maybe it's just a refresher and a restart for him. But
he just needs to.
What'd you say?
I was gonna say, yeah, he just needs to just get some time off and focus on his game.
Yeah. So I think Washington's offense is looking better, and in New York it hasn't looked good since the Arizona win, honestly, and they shouldn't have won that game. So I think
they looked good last week. I'll say that, but
yeah. I'll take Washington though this week.
That's fair.
I agree. Yeah, I think that the Commanders have just better offensive weapons. I like Dotson. McLaurin's pretty decent, and Curtis Samuel's having a good year somehow.
Howell doesn't like Dotson.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I feel like as long as they can get their passing game going, I feel like they'll have a much better chance of winning this game. I feel like that's just in general for the team. Like the defense is like decent, but I feel like the Giants have just been so bad this year that like it's not going to take a Herculean effort to beat them.
Yeah.
So I feel like as long as Sam Howell just plays, like a decent game, like they're just going to beat them.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to need a big game from Saquon to win. Him just like breaking off a few runs, just getting more healthy. And in addition to a lot of mistakes from Sam Howell, which we have seen, especially in that Bills game, threw 4 picks. So they're going to need like, I don't want to say 4, but just that type of mistake prone game from him to win. I think other than that, Washington can get it done. They've looked respectable. It's really their defense that's struggled a lot this year, but it's not like the Giants offense isn't anything to write home about. So I don't think this is a good get right matchup for this defense.
Yeah, their offensive line has looked terrible. They had a good week last week, but prior to that, been really bad. So we'll see if they can.
The Commanders?
No, New York's.
New York. All right.
Yeah, without Andrew Thomas, it's rough, bro. Like nobody's good on that team. Next game, Atlanta at Tampa Bay, divisional matchup. Tampa Bay, 2.5-point home favorites. I'll start off with this one because it's a difficult matchup to pick. But I think that the Bucks take this one. I think they bounce back from the L they took last week. I think I trust Baker more than Desmond Ridder. That's for damn sure. And I don't know, the play calling for the Falcons hasn't been the greatest. They've been throwing more lately, but it's more so when they've had to throw, not as part of the game plan. It's a lot of runs, and then when the defense obviously is going to play for that because they know who your best player is, Bijan, and just your scheme in general, they're forced to throw it. And they've gotten Pitts and London involved in the last few weeks, but I don't know, man. I just think that this offense is very like 1980s Chicago Bears, like run heavy. Like it's not a winning formula. Their defense is good enough, but I think Baker is one of those guys that can get some ugly wins. He's shown some good flashes this year and some bad mistakes. I don't know. He's a serviceable QB to me. I think he got the weapons around him and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers here, especially at home. Just knowing the home matchup is going to give me the edge for them. And I'm going with them.
I'm also going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like you said, Baker Mayfield is a serviceable QB. He's actually looked like the best QB in the division with Carr.
Not saying much, but yeah.
Desmond Ridder. Yeah, so I think he's the best QB in the division. That defense is actually pretty good. They just happen to go against the Lions, which have one of the top offenses in the league. So I'm discounting that game and previous games.
Well, the defense looked good that last week. It was the offense more so. Baker could not connect with like Palmer, Godwin, Evans. He missed all of them.
Those players also had some drops too, so it wasn't all his fault.
Yeah, Mike Evans had a bad drop too.
Yeah, so I think they'll get right this game, and they're at home also. So I'll choose Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had many hot takes today, but I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks too. I feel like, you guys touched on most of the points anyway. I feel like when it comes to the Falcons' offensive schemes, it hasn't been nearly what it needs to be to actually be winning competitive football games. I feel like the Bucks definitely need a bounce back game, and they have so many offensive weapons that I feel like it's going to overpower them. I don't think it's going to. And I see that the line's only 2.5. I think it'll be like low key, like a better, like a bigger gap in the game.
Yeah, the over-under for this game is 37, which is one of the lowest of the week. So it's definitely going to be, well, at least Vegas thinks it's going to be an ugly game environment, like a lot of field goals, shit like that. So, it could go either way at that point if that's the type of game they're expecting.
Yeah, I think I don't agree with Vegas. I think the Bucks is going to put hands on them.
I think it's going to be close.
Okay. Well, I'll pick the Bucks here. We'll go on to this next one, which is also a close matchup, but a better matchup. Detroit at Baltimore. Baltimore ups and downs this season, but they looked good last week against the Titans. Better, at least, I should say. And we know we talked about Detroit. So what's the picks on this one?
I think I will go with the Detroit. I know they're missing David Montgomery, who's been a really good piece for them and has been one of the best running backs in the league, especially in the end zone. But I think their offense is too creative. Jahmyr Gibbs is back. He's still a first-round pick, and we'll see how he's very explosive, but we'll see how he can do with most of the carries in the trenches. With Williams coming back too and him looking better than he did the previous week and playing more snaps, I think you have to account for him too. And St. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the league. Offensive line is really good. Defense is good. I think they're just good in every facet. So I think Detroit, like I said, is a top 5 team in the NFL and will continue to be winning this week. Who's next?
Yeah, okay. I agree with Hassan, honestly. Baltimore's at home, so I see why they're favored. But when it comes to how good the Detroit has actually looked this year, I feel like Baltimore has had its I know Ben said earlier it has ups and downs. So I feel like they're a lot more unproven this year than the Lions are. Like the Lions are on a pretty good roll right now. So I think that considering they have such a good groove and such a good rhythm going, I feel like they're gonna have a really good game. So I feel like the Ravens, if they do end up winning, they'll have to have like a generational Lamar type game, like
Their
going crazy.
defenses look better than past years, the Baltimore Ravens. So it might be a good game. Zay Flowers is looking better too. He's already looking like a really, really good wide receiver. More continuity with Odell and Mark Andrews. So
I hope Odell actually has a role.
he does. I mean,
he's over there.
He always gets like hurt or misses time. So I think it's just finding like chemistry between the two.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the better games of the week. Two of the better teams in the NFL. Lions playing back-to-back road games, I think could take a toll on them. Baltimore being back home after being in London last week, I think that's going to swing the tides in their favor. Also, not having David Montgomery, he's been their workhorse. Jahmyr Gibbs is very talented and explosive, but he's not the guy you give like 20-plus carries to. He's more so, you give him 10 touches out the backfield, you give him a few targets, and he makes big plays out of those targets. He's a home run hitter. He's not really.
Sure, though, we haven't seen him in that role. We've only seen it once, but we don't know if he's capable of being that workhorse.
I don't see him as that type of player, though. Like, he's just not big enough for that. Like, Dave Montgomery's like a big power back. Jahmyr Gibbs is more so like pass catcher, small, explosive, shifty, quick running back. So even if obviously they might have to give him the load this week because there's no really Craig Reynolds is injured too, so they don't have anybody really. It's like Dan Campbell, as much as he doesn't want to fucking use Jahmyr Gibbs, he got to do it this week. But yeah, I think that's going to hurt them though, David Montgomery, because the Ravens have a really tough defense, and not having that big bruising back, I think, is going to hurt them. I think the Lions, although their weapons are really good, their run game is really where they kind of get most of their offense generated from, as we've seen in Montgomery, just being in a red zone, especially. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens here. I could see the Lions winning, obviously, but I think I'm gonna go with the Ravens here. I think that their offense has been clicking, especially last week. Zay Flowers' first touchdown. So I think they're gonna have a good game this week and snap the Lions' little hot starts of the season.
That's the first
non-unanimous.
Split decision.
Yeah. All right, it's good. I was tired of all the same picks, man.
Pittsburgh. This is big. This is a good one.
At Rams. So, LA Rams are favored by 3 points. Deontay Johnson should be coming off IR. Pittsburgh coming off a bye. LA Rams, we talked about this earlier, no Kyron Williams. It's going to be a slew of running backs taking carries. So what do we think is happening this week? I definitely think that the Rams are going to throw a lot, but does that mean that they will win? What do you guys think?
This is a tough one for me.
I think in this one I got the Rams. I'm thinking that they are going to throw a lot, and considering now that they've seen the progression of Puka, and knowing that Kupp is still pretty much back to, we've seen what he did the last couple of games. Like he's just back to how he was before he was injured. Like it didn't take him no time. So I feel like they're just going to rely heavily on them too, and I feel like it'll be not necessarily like too much, but I don't think the Steelers this year are like all that great. And I feel like considering their defense starts to play down to their offense level, because it's kind of hard to be out there so much when their offense just doesn't move as much.
I feel the opposite, actually. I think their defense is the only reason why they win games.
Well, no, I mean, I agree. I think that the defense is the reason why they can win some games, but I'm saying that like since their offense is bad, like they get tired out. You get me?
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're gonna be spending a lot of time on defense in this game, and I don't think that they're going to be able to overcome that against a team like the Rams. Like the Rams are pretty competitive, even though they're only 3-3. I feel like they're just a better team overall.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you for the first time today. This is a
another
tough one. It's 50-50 to me, but I think Pittsburgh's defense is really, really good. TJ Watt has been outstanding this year, and I think the pressure is going to get to Matthew Stafford. The Pittsburgh Steelers are also getting Deontay Johnson back. He's coming back from IR. He's definitely their best wide receiver. Opens up the floor for them. So their offense should be a bit better. They're coming off a bye week, so more rest for Kenny Pickett and the injury that he sustained. Hopefully they've had more time to prepare for this matchup as well. So hopefully they look more competent on offense, and I think that paired with the defense is going to get them a win this week. So Pittsburgh.
That's me. I just had to throw a like on the stream with my burner. Yeah, this is a hard one for me to pick, honestly, because I like what you mentioned, Hassan. The defense, they have a lot of pride. Like their offense, Matt Canada's a terrorist, so I mean it's just going to be hard to watch.
Terrible offensive coordinator.
But also Rams not having Kyron Williams affects them a lot because the reason Kupp and Puka, I mean, they're good, obviously, don't get me wrong. The scheme is great, but having Kyron kind of makes the defense still stay on edge and still have to play the run. They can't just fucking sell out to stop those two receivers. But I'm not too confident with the guys they got now that's going to happen. So I'm a little iffy, but I think just for the fact that they got the home field, even though it's not much of a home field, to be honest, I'm going to go with the Rams. I could easily see the Steelers taking this one, but I'm going to go with the Rams just because the offense, in 2023 in the NFL, you need a good offense. You need to score points. Defense can only do so much. And I'm just not confident that coming out of the bye week, I know Deontay's coming back. That's going to be huge. But when the play call is bad, when your running backs, other than, Najee only, but when they can't get going, it's going to be tough. I think I'm going to go with the Rams here. Very non-convincingly. I'm going to pick the Rams.
I think it's going to be low scoring.
The over-under is 44, so actually one of the decently higher ones. Another low over-under was the Commanders-Giants was at 37.5, pretty close to the Bucks and Falcons. Also, the Vegas and Bears game, but I don't think that needs to be said. We all knew that was
two QBs. Oh, this is a good one, too.
Arizona at Seattle. DK Metcalf is questionable right now. Let me just make sure. He has a rib injury. Game time decision is what they're listing him as right now. I don't know if that affects. I mean, JSN could have a breakout game.
JSN season.
He might win you another week in fantasy, bro. You might have to bench it.
Yeah. But let's see. I'll probably choose Seattle here, coming out for a tough loss against the Bengals, and then finally coming back home. I think they'll be what's his name? Geno Smith will finally start getting end zone targets. I see about 2-3 TDs from him this week, regardless of DK Metcalf being there, because Arizona is not the greatest team. So I think Seattle will get it done this week. Dub for them.
I'm gonna let him change real quick. I'm gonna give my take while he's doing this thing. I'm gonna go with Seattle as well. I think. I mean, you see the line right there, 7.5. Like that says it all. The offensive skill positions, even without DK Metcalf. Oh, there he goes back. Even without DK Metcalf, I think JSN might have a breakout game finally. He had his best game of the year last week, like 4 for 58 or something like that, which, not amazing, but that's his best game so far. So things are looking up. Yeah, Joshua Dobbs, he's done a good job, but no James Conner. You saw last week, they really the reason they were able to stay in games before, like it was off their running game. James Conner getting play action off of it. Now, no James Conner, Keontae Ingram, and DeMarcado, very mid as we saw. So without the run game, without the elite QB, I have they play with heart and soul, but it's just not enough talent.
Can only take you so far.
Yeah,
can beat the Cowboys for you though.
Arizona has looked a lot better than I thought. When they come into the season, I thought, no good players, but they play with a lot of heart. They play hard. So got to give them the respect, but unfortunately, talent still matters.
Yeah, Hollywood looks good, though. So,
he might get traded, honestly. But
yeah, they might trade him.
We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe Kyler wants to keep him.
Well, I heard rumors about the Panthers wanting a 1.
Yeah.
No! That's good. All right, man. You know who I got. I think that they're just gonna, put
Arizona.
I think DK will play. I think these rib injuries, I've seen that like people like DK, people like Debo, these big dudes, like I feel like they'll just play through
just
stuff
let
like
them run go routes.
that.
That's all they're good for at this point.
But yeah, I mean the Cardinals. I do agree with you guys how the Cardinals have been looking a lot better this year, or a lot better than expected. Not a lot better this year, but they've been looking a lot better than expected. Even though they're 1-5, I feel like they've had so many competitive games against every team that they've almost every team that they lost to.
Last week was honestly their worst loss. Like that.
Yeah. And so if it wasn't for Kyler's not like even if he does come back, he's not going to be back this week, right?
No. Maybe
next week. Yeah,
Maybe.
I feel like if they had Kyler, I still wouldn't pick him just because I'm going to pick the Seahawks. But I would understand more if somebody wanted to pick him. But yeah, I think the Seahawks are just going to put hands on him.
It's still going to take some games for Kyler to get acclimated, especially with the new offense, and then him tearing his ACL and MCL. So
yeah, they're not going to rush their franchise QB. They're definitely going to
make
him slow.
That $230 million.
Yeah, they got to protect their asset, bro. Especially if he's not studying. Like, they better have been during that time off.
I hope he's able to run, though. I hope he's not scared to run after what happened, like other QBs get.
Did he tear his ACL on a running play, though?
I don't know. ACL and MCL.
I think it depends. If he like tore it in the pocket, like I don't think that'll affect him. I think if he tore that shit on a run play, I mean, I guess, but he's a type of like he's a little munchkin, the way he runs.
He needs his running. That's one of his biggest assets.
It is, but yeah, that play against the Raiders last year, every time I think of his like running, that like 12-second play that he had, I don't know if you remember that, like ran this way, that way, then completed a pass.
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. He can win you games with his abilities there. So
yeah, that's honestly one of the like his throwing skills is not elite, but his playmaking, like off script, is top 5 easily in the NFL.
Yeah, ability to extend plays is one of his biggest assets.
Yeah. All right. Next game, because we got to do awards after this. Green Bay at Denver. Green Bay 1-point road favorites. I'm gonna go here first. The Green Bay's winning. For the first time this season, they're gonna have their whole team healthy. Aaron Jones is gonna be back.
He's questionable, isn't he?
He is, but I think he's gonna play.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, he's a hamstring injury, but he was limited in practice, and he's coming off the bye week. I assume that's you got a lot of time off, but even if not, AJ Dillon looked okay last week, better than he has all season. So
I'm done with that guy, man. They need to drop him and get another running back next year.
Whoa!
This guy's only good for 1 yard line runs or like touchdown runs. He looked
good last week.
Capability, huh?
No, 2 weeks ago he looked good. 2 weeks ago he played well.
And look, did we win or lose?
Okay, look, Jordan Love threw 3 picks. We don't got to talk about that.
Okay, but I don't understand the reason why. I think that he
scored the touchdown.
Yeah, but he had so many opportunities. Like, why is he getting so many opportunities? He's not that guy. I see 3 yards, 5 yards.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy?
Explosive.
If Aaron Jones is hurt, who's the guy? Who are they going to play? Fucking PJ Walker Jr. off the practice squad?
Man. You throw the ball more. You don't need AJ Dillon. He's not a workhorse running back, dude.
Dude, no one says he's a running back for
a reason. And I'm just saying he's not good enough to be a number 2 on the team. I think
number 2.
No, man. Like,
damn.
Who else would pick him up in the NFL?
A lot of teams, like
examples.
The
Rams wouldn't even play him.
He would be the number 2 on the Raiders. The Ravens.
At best, he's a good number 2, and at best, no, he's not even a good number 2. He's a mid number 2.
I don't know why you hate on this
guy. I think they need to draft another running back. Them losing Jamal Williams over this dude it makes me mad. He looked good.
That was 3 years ago.
I'm still mad about it. Okay, I'm hurt. He looked good.
I forgot you're a Packers fan.
But after that, I'm done with this guy, man. He's cooked.
All right. Now that you got your AJ Dillon hate out the way, he's a number 2, bro. I don't know why you hating so hard on number fucking 2, right? Like he's a second string for a reason. Anyway,
they were just Yeah, go ahead.
I think he was serviceable enough, especially against this garbage Bronco. Like I'm not saying he's about to be, RB1 for the whole year, but against this Broncos team, I think he could get some stuff done. Good enough to win the game. Again, like I said, all the receivers are finally healthy first time this year. Well, their whole team, I'm saying. Hopefully Aaron Jones plays. Coming off a bad game, Jordan Love off the bye. I think he got some much-needed rest, some much-needed reps with his team. Yeah, I think they're just a better team overall. Broncos are bad in all assets. I mean, when their offense is clicking, their defense can't stop anybody. When their defense finally starts playing well, Russell Wilson can't do. He had 95 yards against the Chiefs. 95 yards. So Yeah, it's just not good for the Broncos. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers.
I will also go with the Green Bay Packers this week. I think Jordan Love will have a get-right game after throwing 3 interceptions. I still think the talent is there with that player. Having Aaron Jones back will help them a lot.
Let me say something real quick too.
Better.
I was looking at some of the play calls they had last week, bro. They had like 3 guys running the same side of the field. Please stop that. That's why he's throwing picks. Like, oh, not. I'm not putting the whole blame on the play calling, but like, it doesn't help your young QB when you're running like awful plays.
Yeah, the whole team is young too. Like, the Christian Watson throw at the end too. I don't know why he slowed down for the ball. Like, that was just dumb from him too. I don't blame Jordan Love for that interception. Also,
that was the one pick that wasn't on him actually.
Yeah, and that should have won us the game. So I think Green Bay is they just have better players overall, and their offense is a bit more competent. Defense is okay. They're just an average team. So I think that's better than a below average team in Denver, obviously. So I'll go Green Bay here.
It's a good point you made. The team's young because you're right. The whole team is young. It's not just the QB. It's the receivers, most of the O line because they're all big.
No Bakhtiari, yeah.
So good.
And then Aaron Jones is just Aaron Jones. So old man Jones.
He's gonna be out of there in he got a year or 2.
Next year, I think he's out.
He getting all the touches, most of the touches though. He's feeling good right now.
Good. He's still good enough to play.
He's always hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also got the Packers. I feel like the Broncos are just. If it wasn't for the Panthers existing, I would say the Broncos are the worst team.
Yeah,
but
they barely beat the Bears, bro. They came back in the second half. Like,
I feel like if Bryce Young develops during the season, they'll be a better team than the Broncos. Like the Broncos are just so bad.
I don't even think Bryce Young's fault for the losses. I think he's making a correct decision to shoot. He's making Adam Thielen look like a wide receiver 1 out there.
I mean, it's not all on him. He has made some questionable plays, but I do think, first of all, the receiver besides Thielen, who's not they have no receivers that can get open. Like Thielen catches passes contested every time. No one can get open on the team.
Yeah,
every catch is difficult. No one's getting separation. The running backs are awful. They have the worst running backs in the league. I will say AJ Dillon will start on the Panthers. Miles Sanders is
Chuba Hubbard's better than AJ Dillon, man. Come on.
No, I don't know, bro.
I think so.
I know Miles Sanders is cooked. I know Miles Sanders is the worst starting running back in the NFL. Don't even fight me on that.
Yeah, it's actually crazy that he starts.
Miles Sanders?
Yeah.
Eagles finesse.
He came off a good season last year. That's why.
Eagles finesse.
Yeah, say that's like team. That's being carried
by team.
And they have a great O line.
I already know something about that.
If he wasn't doing good behind the Eagles O line, I don't know how the fuck you're gonna succeed with the Panthers, bro.
Yeah. So I got the Packers. That's pretty good.
Next game, another divisional game, should be a good one. LA at Kansas City. LA Chargers. Let me specify that. Kansas City 5.5-point home favorites. What are we thinking here? I mean, the Chargers, we know, they're in every game, but they just are the most unclutched team in the history of sports. I could see them keeping this game close. Last year, you remember what happened? They got to the goal line and Justin Herbert threw a pick six and Gerald Everett stopped running his route. You remember that?
Yeah.
So they always have these weird ass games. I think a year before that they won on a Mike Williams end zone fade route. So Chargers and Kansas City always have close games. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers here. I think bounce back a loss after the Cowboys game. I think they're feeling pretty bad about that. The defense looked a lot better though. They actually were able to stop players on the team. No one had a crazy insane game. Tony Pollard played well, but not rushing the ball. He had a lot of receiving plays. So I think they can win. The Chiefs, Mahomes, they haven't looked the best this year. A lot of picks without Kelsey. He's always in and out of the lineup this year with injuries.
Loss, though, right?
Yeah, they still only have one loss. I mean, last week against us, 2 weeks ago, they really should have had another one. But so, the receivers, besides Rashee Rice, I have no hope for these receivers. I'm sorry.
Tony got a touchdown at least. There's hope for that man.
I mean, if you're playing with Mahomes, you should be at least catching a touchdown. But he's getting one touchdown, one catch. That's it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the upset here.
I'm gonna have to agree. I love the Chargers, so I'm gonna also ride with them. But I think that Eckler being back 1 week, I feel like he's gonna have a much better game than he did last week. He had a very pedestrian game. He had like I don't even know like 40 yards or some whatever like rushing. So I feel like him coming back from injury, he was a little they like eased it in kind of. He was blocking.
He also
a lot
just
of
played
plays.
against like one of the best defenses too.
Yeah, that's also true. But he was a lot of plays he was just blocking. Like they were using him at damn near as an extra lineman. So I feel like this game he'll be a lot more involved. That'll just open up the offense a little more. I think it'll be a pretty big shootout. But I am going to.
This is
I am
actually
going to go with the Chargers.
the second highest over under for the week at 48. So
Yeah.
we'll get into this next game, which is the highest. But yeah, this one of the better games of the week.
Yeah, I feel like the Chiefs are they're due for a loss. They're not going 16-1.
Really?
So.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's a divisional game. Like I said, the Chargers always play them close. I feel like this is the week they catch another L.
Oh, and didn't Bosa come back last week?
And
I don't know, man. He's always in and out. Like I see him in, and then he's on the sideline. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, if he's playing,
well,
if he
actually
plays,
I think that this is the beginning to the end for the Chargers. I think Brandon Staley will be fired by the end of not by the end, half of the season. I think they're losing many games.
I'll agree with you on that, regardless of what happens to the Chargers.
I think the Chargers defense is terrible. You're going against Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league. Travis Kelce's a 1 week a bit healthier from that ankle injury. They're at home. I think they'll just win it. They always beat the Chargers, like no matter what, even if the games are close. Like you said, that pick 6 at like the 1 yard line. There's always something happening. So I think Kansas they lost Mike Williams, and obviously that looks like that hurt him a lot. Even though having Eckler back, there's always one of those guys out of the lineup. And Herbert's missing some key throws with that injury too. So maybe I think
he'll be a little better.
Bad. The one to Keenan.
He'll be a bit better, but you still have to manage it. And I think you're gonna have to be kind of mistake free against Kansas City because their defense is still pretty legit too. Even though I think this will be a shootout, but Kansas City's going to win, and I think it's the beginning of the end for the Chargers this season.
That one miss was pretty bad to Keenan, where he's overthrew him.
Yeah,
like that was pretty bad.
I know.
I think he'll have like I think Herb will have a pretty good bounce back just from relatively poor performance last week.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, also Quinn Johnson, man, he's not doing shit. I don't know what I'm pretty disappointed with.
Well, it's a bit of both, but I think Herbert's not throwing him the ball because I saw some like mixtapes of him like being wide open and like Herbert not giving it.
Ain't no way you saw a mixtape, bro. I was like one catch.
Bro, I'll send it to you. Someone said, "Oh, this you can't teach this type of twitch," and then I saw him like wide open for a bunch of plays. But that last play though, he got manhandled. He got bodied for the interception.
He's just like. He does get open, but at the same time, like he's not quick enough. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird. He's like
targets, man. Like you got to trust him a bit more too.
He's got to be like what I'll say is they should at least give him the jump balls in the end zone. They throw to Donald Parham and Gerald Everett down there. Like at that point, throw to Quentin Johnson. Like I know he can't really. He's not the crispiest route runner. Like he's not Justin Jefferson. He can't really move people like the other receivers. But you gotta. He's one of the biggest dudes on the team. Like you gotta throw him some jump balls or something.
Give him a chance at least, man.
Yeah, it's like why did you draft him? I mean, he's big as fuck.
When you have people out, yeah. Why draft him first round?
Oh, let me see this guy's profile. He is. He's going to tell me. He's 22 years old.
Mike Evans type B.
Yeah.
It's telling me where is his metrics, bro? I don't care about his advanced stats.
Check it out.
6'3", 208, 40-inch vertical.
Damn.
Yeah, so I got 6'4". So,
let me see a dunk compilation.
He maybe grew. This was his combine numbers. I don't know. Oh, he ran his 40 is not that fast, so that's probably why he's not doing as well. He's a 4.5 40, so
just that's the ball though, bro.
Yeah, I mean he's big as fuck. He's like DK Metcalf big. So
at least with the Seahawks, they're trying to get JSN involved more. It doesn't seem like they are for the Chargers with Quentin Johnston. So
I just want to hear the reasoning. They haven't said anything as to why. I don't know if it's because like he's not performing and they're just not seeing it, or if they're just hating. I don't know.
Yeah, that whole team's just dysfunctional right now.
Yeah. And well, not the last game of the week, but the best game of the week. Miami at Philly. This is the highest over under at 51.5. Philly is 2.5 point home favorites, coming off a bad L against the Jets. But this should be one of the best games of the week. Two Alabama QB, the best game actually, yeah. But you never know. It could be a field goal fest or something. But two Alabama QBs duking it out with each other once again. Tua versus Hurts. We love to see it. Yeah, what are we thinking? Tyreek Hill and Waddle versus AJ and Devontae. Ooh, this is gonna be a nice matchup. Who wants to go first?
I think I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles based off their performance last week and what Jalen Hurts showed. Having 4 turnovers, that's not going to happen again, especially with his mindset. I think he's going to come out here and hoop. And AJ Brown, Devontae Smith also having some drops. That's not going to happen again either. One of his greatest assets is his route running and his catching ability. So I think that's not going to happen, especially at home in Philadelphia. So I think this is going to be similar to the Buffalo-Miami game, but not a blowout. I think the Philly's going to start off hot. Miami's going to have to catch up.
This is a tough pick for me because I really agree with the fact a lot of things you said. The way they lost last week, Jalen Hurts is one of the best leaders at the QB position, so I'm sure he'll have his guys ready to play. But I'm very concerned in the offense-defense matchup. Tyreek Hill against these cornerbacks is going to be ugly. I mean, even Jalen Waddle against these corners. Yeah. But especially Philly, who's had one of the worst secondaries in the league. The run defense is really good, but that's not where you care about the Dolphins. You care about the pass game. So I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins here.
Too, man.
What's up?
So the run's been pretty tough too. Raheem Mostert looking really good.
Yeah, he is. I mean, their offense is explosive overall, but I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins for that reason. I think both offenses, as the over-under suggests, will be able to move the ball easily in this game. I'm sure Hurts will have 3 TDs, so will Tua. But I think the defense for the the Dolphins is a little more sure than the Philadelphia Eagles, especially in the secondary. They have Jalen Ramsey coming off IR soon, too. He's going to help them a lot, which is crazy considering towards ACL in the preseason. So, I don't know. I'm feeling good about the Dolphins. They've been a really good team this year. Their one loss was a divisional loss to the Bills at full strength. So, I especially coming off that ugly game, we all talked about it on here. At least you guys told me the Eagles aren't the same this year, which I agree a little bit. I still think they're one of the best teams in NFC, but I think the Dolphins could take this one.
This is going to be like a Super Bowl type of game, hopefully.
There would be a crazy matchup in the Super Bowl.
I'm glad it's a 5 o'clock game because it's fire.
Yeah.
But
sure.
yeah.
Imagine if we got the Raiders game at 5.
Have you guys noticed that most of these like TNF and SNF games have been like trash?
Yeah.
It's weird. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you should put the trash games on when the other 50 games are on.
Man, primetime game.
Well, I mean,
we have a Chicago and Panthers TNF game, I think, coming up.
When it comes to this week's Monday night, wouldn't be that bad if Jets was playing. But
yeah, that's just unpredictable. Like CMC might be out, Jefferson might be out. Well, he is out.
Unpredictable, but I'm saying like a freaking Philadelphia Panthers and Bears game as a freaking premier game.
No, they predicted that. They're playing for the first pick. That's what that is. Well, actually, Bears get it anyway. It doesn't matter who wins.
The whole promo is going to be about who's them getting the first pick.
Well, that's crazy. The Bears are going to win that game, whether they win or lose. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a stat filler game.
Oh my god!
All right. So I got the Dolphins. I'm gonna have to go agree with Bez. I think that although Philly is home, I do think that the Dolphins have a harder offense to deal with. I mean, Tyreek Hill is still on pace to put up like an insane amount of yards. So I feel like he's going to continue doing what he does. And I don't think there's really anyone in the league right now that could really stop him unless you Bill Belichick. So I feel like they're just going to win the shootout battle. I do expect the Philly to play a lot better than last week, especially. I just think it'll be like a really good game between both teams. But I think that Miami this year is looking a little too different to want to put them on top of, especially since we've seen the Eagles have some struggles. Like, I feel like the Bills in Miami game, the Bills just came out in. It's not even that Miami was looking really bad. The Bills
was that week 2? Was that after they lost to the Jets? Because that would make sense. They came out on timing. If they lost to the Jets, ugly opener, and then they came out on some
That was week 4.
Also, they lost.
Oh, really? Who was the game before then?
They beat the Commanders 37-3. And the
So they didn't play
Dolphins-
the week before. They was chilling. They
Yeah.
took the week off.
The Dolphins put up 70 on the Broncos. They was probably tired.
No, they was chilling too, but in the wrong way.
Miami's
Yes.
definitely the hottest team in the NFL right now, and I think they're number one on offense in like every single category. So
Yeah.
they'll bring that into the fold.
But I think, regardless, I think it's going to be like one of the craziest games. The season in general, one of the best games so far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
hopefully. I think the Chiefs game could be good too. I think those two, the last two games we talked about, are the best games of the week by far.
Yeah.
And then Monday Night Football, San Fran at Minnesota. San Fran
At
7-point road favorites. Christian McCaffrey questionable. Deebo Samuel questionable. No Justin Jefferson. But other than that, the Vikings are healthy. Well, actually, no. We're missing a bunch of defensive players and offensive line players now. That I'm aware of
Hunter's
that.
been looking pretty good.
He's one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Yeah,
He's him.
yeah. But I think this is a pretty easy one. San Francisco is better in everything, besides maybe TV. So San Francisco will win this game.
He is hating out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go San Fran too. I think if,
Kirk
like I
Cousins is
said,
good. Look at the stats.
he is him. Kirk Cole. Yeah, I think if the 49ers had won last week, I think I would feel comfortable picking the upset here in my heart of hearts. But the fact that they lost to the Browns last week, I can't do it. I know they're gonna come on timing. They probably had a harder week of practice and shit. Like I just can't pick against them. Otherwise, trust me, I want to, but not after the L they took. Especially the Vikings won last week, so I don't think they're gonna care as much. Obviously, they're gonna try, but I think with no Justin Jefferson, it's going to be tough. The only way I can see this even being close is if Deebo and McCaffrey are out. Then I think 49ers still probably win, but I think it'll be like a very close game with the star players being out.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? I forgot. I blanked out.
I'm getting tired of this whole. I think that the Niners are just going to, give them a good stomp, good curb stomp.
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna come out crazy, come out blazing. Especially if they're fully healthy. If C-Mac and Debo come, I feel like there's no way that I'd probably bet my entire house on Niners win.
Yeah, if C-Mac and Deebo play, I would too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just. I mean, I know we've already touched on it, but I think we're just gonna. The Niners are just gonna shit on them.
All right. Yeah, because we got. That's the predictions those are the NFL predictions, should I say, for today? Because